Uh, Doctor basically explained to me that I won't be able to play sports again for the rest of my life.
Wow.
Um,
How do you take that bit of news right there? That particular bit of news?
I cried for months. Hip replacement is not a thing that does really happen with young people like that often. It's rare, so it's more older people, more older folks stuff. So yeah, you just have to go forward, have young ones do such surgery and gain, with their life. So I think I already know.
What's your name, my brother?
My name is Myron Samuel. Some people call me Left Eye, some people call me FT.
Left eye. Why left eye?
Why Left Eye is because of my father. My siblings, my brothers, one is right eye, one is sat eye. Basically, my father, my mother basically was a Rastafarian.
Okay.
So the eye thing was naturally from both.
Okay. Interesting. How many siblings do you have?
Um, Two brothers and three sisters living right now. And I had a brother passed away since 2000, year 2000.
And he's done it. Myron Samuel, his second goal in the season, has the equalizer in S2. We are tied up here at Starfire Sports Stadium.
Samuel's storied football career, though painfully short-lived, is chock full of highlights. He started playing as a pre-adolescent youngster in his primary school league at the Liu Government School and soon captured the attention of local scouts. At 15 years old, he became one of the youngest athletes to ever don the national senior men's cap. Even before that, Samuel represented St. Vincent and the Grenadines at the Caribbean Youth Cup in Trinidad and Tobago when he was just 12 years old as part of the national under-16 squad. Fast forward several international offers, his ever-expanding scorecard of assists and goals, and one damning MRI report later, and that promising career crashed to a halt. Now a dedicated father with a potentially crippling health condition, Samuel's story took a sudden turn, apparently for the worst, when he was sentenced for the role he played when a cache of police guns and ammunition was reportedly stolen from the Georgetown precinct earlier this year.
Quick update on Myron Samuel.
Yes.
Sentencing, please.
18 months and fine of 3,005 or 9 months.
And your take on this whole move, considering your very passionate mitigation?
In the circumstances, harsh and unconscionable, in my humble opinion.
You've been playing football, soccer for pretty much all your life, man.
Yeah, started playing football from a young age. In the beginning, it was football and cricket. I played kiddies cricket in the primary school,
I remember that.
basically dominating alone, batting and everything like that. Then I went on to the football, where I prefer the football because for me it's more active and more fun. So I basically fell in love with playing football at the age like 7, coming down. Played for Liu Government School, like for the under 13 primary school tournament where I captured the most goal and the MVP of the tournament in 2004.
Do you remember what your most favorite game from that tournament was?
From that tournament?
Mm-hmm. That was your first tournament, right?
Yeah. Honestly, all the game except the finals.
What happened? What happened in the finals?
Because in the beginning of the tournament, they was playing like 7-a-side. And then when it reached to semi-final, I think, they moved it to 11-a-side, which our school didn't have that good of a players basically to fill the rest spot. So they basically going in the finals playing against Ian Sardin team. He basically put three persons to mark me. Throughout the game, I went to the bathroom. The players went coming with me to the bathroom. So yeah, we lost I think 1-0. And moving on to secondary school football, I went to Bethel High School. Struggled in school football because it always me alone basically and just two other good players. It's like school like Baga and stuff like that have good athletic players throughout the field. So yeah, so and like I made the national under 15 at 2014, 2015, and from that I keep making the national teams. And then I move on to the senior national team where I made my debut in 2008 at age 15. I'm still currently the youngest player to ever represent St. Vincent and the Grenadines at that level. And from there it was up movements, I could say. I went on playing for Ian Sardin System 3 team.
After you qualified for the national team?
Yeah. And in like 2009, I moved to Avenues United.
Why?
Why? Because Ian Sardin team always have all the good quality players growing up. So it was too much players. And at my age, I was young, yes, but the level of football in me was good enough to play at a senior level because I basically done make the national senior team. So I was still struggling to get into the team for System 3 at the Premier level. So I moved to Avenues United where I never want to regret that. Yeah, because after that move, Avenues United and Marvin Fraser basically took me as a youth and raised me as a man. At the football level, they taught me a lot. Other than my hometown, it have a lot of individuals like Ray Jack and much more who always pull me out the house every morning, every evening. So yeah, it was always a motivation from my surrounding to go out and play football.
So the thing's been in you from pretty much day one?
Yeah. I moved on playing in Barbados in 2013, which before that I went to Seattle Sanders in 2011 for a tryout.
How were you able to secure that opportunity for the tryout, Seattle Sounders?
From Ezra Hendrickson. He basically scouted me and gave me the opportunity to at least get a tryout. So I went to the tryout and they told me I'm still raw, they're interested, just give it time. And it's not until 2015 they called me back basically to sign with them, which I signed with the second team. Yeah, going to...
I'm sorry, before you go on, what was that experience like, working along with Sounders too?
It was a good experience, I never regret it. It's a learning experience, to be honest. Being in swimming to playing as a kid, I actually thought we know a lot. But when you get at that level, you realize we're still far away from the game. We still have a lot to learn, and yeah, I learned a lot ever since going to play professional football. And I pass on my experience, I pass on my knowledge from the day I enter in a professional setup to the younger generation in my community and in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
The community here in New.
Yeah.
How old were you when the medical condition that is now afflicting you, and we want to talk a little bit about that? first presented?
In 2018, basically the beginning of the year was struggling with the national team, feeling like back pains and stuff like that. So before games I normally get full massage and stuff like that, therapy, able to play the games. In the beginning we never knew that it was such serious. I thought it was like a back pain, normal back pain, and like an injury. Up until September in 2018, I played my last game of St. Vincent and the Grenadines against Nicaragua.
Myron Samuel tries his luck. If only it had been a few inches lower.
After the game, I went to the manager and I told him I cannot continue because of the pain and how I'm struggling in training and in games. So I want to do some sort of test, an MRI or something, which St. Vincent and the Grenadines don't have an MRI machine, so I have to travel to do such surgery tests. So I went to Barbados basically like a week after the game, and the game was on the 8th. So after doing the MRI in Barbados, I get back. Basically I was 25 years old. Dr. Adams was the doctor, so he read out everything to me, and that is when I discovered I have a bone disease that's called avascular necrosis. If you know the meaning of necrosis, basically the bone was dying, a loss of blood to a bone. Yeah, so and at that stage, the disease was at the worst stage already when I found out, which was at stage 4. So yeah, that basically was it, and I asked for a second opinion, went to Trinidad, I got the same thing. Asked for another opinion, I went to Cuba, and I got the same thing, and it's from there it was downhill. Doctor basically explained to me that I won't be able to play sports again for the rest of my life.
Wow.
How
do you take that bit of news right there? That particular bit of news?
I cried for months.
I could imagine.
Yeah, who know me and who basically just be around me know what I went through. It was days crying, nights crying. Everybody tried to comfort me, but I lose a lot of faith in God. I give up, basically. I end up telling people I basically consider myself dead. Because not playing ball basically mean all my joy gone. And at that same point, I have a daughter. And I still consider myself out of the world. So that will tell you how much football mean to me, because a few days after finding out about the disease, I basically got a call to go Bangladesh, or you want to call it, to play football with a team. It was a contract, it was basically more than 5,000 US a month. So yeah, receiving such news and stuff like that, it get to me more, because at the point where I now going to rise in my football career and basically make something to own for myself and make a living from it, everything fall down on me one time.
I'm sensing it. I mean, you crying for months on end. Um, it had more to do with your loss of participation in the sport that you love, more so than the fact that you have a disease that a bone disease.
Honestly, it took me about a year and some after everything to really consider and really accept that I have a disease. It was more about me cannot play football, which I'm not going to lie. I continue playing it at times. Sometimes when I stressed out and stuff like that, I will take up my shoes and still go on the park, even though if I happy and stuff like that. Not able to do what I want, but still freeing my mind just by kicking a football. Yeah, so the first year and a half, it wasn't painful, honestly. I consider myself, I'm giving myself time in the beginning and see if God will give me a miracle with a healing and stuff like that.
Even at the point when you lost faith.
Even at the point when I lost faith, I still believe that something still can happen. Where I was on some medication and stuff like that to try gain back some sort of life in the bone. So yeah.
Did they work? Were they able to help in any way? Medication?
Nah, to be honest, from the day I found out about the disease to now, it's just getting worse and worse. It's never a moment where I say, yeah, I'm feeling better. It's always worse. Up to this point today, it's so painful that I actually live on a tent machine where it's a machine where basically give current and help stimulate the bone. The stimulating machine. So like this, it have endurance, resistance, strength, active recovery, and pre-warm-up. It was basically one strength. You see some movements in I might believe. So yeah, sometimes I just put it up and just relax for 2 hours or 3 hours. Put it to charge and then back again at it.
What strength is it that there now?
80.
And it could go how
Up to
strong?
1,000.
So it come in like a massage then.
Yeah, massage. Got 90 you know. If most people put this on them cannot reach so far. So just getting accustomed to it, I keep going up and going up. Most of those reaches like 150, 180.
How long have you been using it?
Basically it come from Ozari. I remember basically a year now. I used to go in and he plug it up on me, but it gets so painful and stuff like that, he allow me to keep it.
So, what has brought you to national attention lately has been your conviction in this whole scene, this up. Like I was telling you earlier, what I'm curious about is how were you able to manage with your ailments, for the while you were imprisoned. What was that like, with the particular ailment?
Being in prison was a hard task for me. Basically the only reason why was because of my condition. My condition need attention, like therapy attention, which Bayam is not in the country, so I give myself to Ozari Williams, which we become more like a brother. He helped me, day in, day out.
Was he able to visit you while you were in prison?
No, but it was in the making. From the day I went to prison, I was like asking to just at least get therapy session with him. But in prison, it's a procedure, and up to my release, it still never happened. So yeah, being in prison with my condition was stressful for me. I suffer a lot because of no attention. I basically was making complaint every single day, every night, which in Belize is very cold, very, very cold. So at night I don't really get to sleep. I was like being up, groaning more, stuff like that. And some of the fellas, they understand. So yeah,
Inmates or
yes,
prison officers?
some of the inmates, they understand my condition. So they walk along sometimes when I'm groaning and I'm basically carrying on. Yeah, so it was stressful for me because of no attention to my condition.
Mr. Connell, so we got word that Myron Samuel was recently released from prisons.
Yes.
What's your take on
It's
that
great
development?
news.
Yeah?
Yes.
Awesome. Was this part of your strategies moving
I was
forward?
the least of the apostles. I just represented him in court. It's a good work of Johnson Associates. You got to congratulate them, and all played a part in his eventual release. Denis Byam, Dr. Providence, McIntosh, who prepared the report. So it's all good. You couldn't leave the young man there to rot. I understand there are flights available to Cuba now, and I think Mr. Byam informed me. So hopefully he will be on one of those flights and get treated. It'd be good if all the disciplines, sporting disciplines, given his contribution to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, that they can all come together and contribute to help him recover. Get that surgery done and try to get back on his feet.
Do you have any idea what the status of his health situation is currently?
Well, at court I did say, he's in excruciating pain, and when he went there, so we all know the conditions of prison, so it's not a hotel. So I guess you can come to your own conclusion.
Okay.
Hopefully the powers that be will see it necessary to make the amendments in the law so that in section 30 of the criminal code could be amended as soon as possible, so that suspended sentences could be applicable to cases of this nature. So when you have matters such as Myron, you don't have to wait until the court concludes and then you go to the mercy committee. Those sentences can be suspended. Give the person the opportunity to come back into society and play their role, and not just fill up our jails. We have we simply can't afford to. Simple.
And obviously you can't stress manage these days by just kicking a ball like you used to.
Nah, I give up. I give in. Everybody actually want me to coach and stuff like that, but to be honest, coaching is not the same like playing football for me. A lot of people say I'm a good coach because I walk along with the youth football team, which basically all the youths want me around. As I say, I always passing on my knowledge and my experience. So yeah, I did decide that I am walking away from all that. And a lot of the guys basically beg me not to, please, even though now with the pandemic football not really playing, they still telling me whenever they want me to still be around and stuff like that, which I understand. But some of them will understand me, but some don't. The pain that I just feel being around a football field and watching football I don't think much will understand. It's just not the same, so I try my best to always avoid being around football. It was my best thing to know one of the worst. Yeah, so it's a kind of love-hate situation. Yeah.
You are seeking some medical attention, though. Is it a surgery? What's going on? I knew you had a GoFundMe going, and then there's a whole situation with that. Can we talk a little bit about that? What's going on over there?
The only how this pain can stop in my hip is to do a total replacement hip surgery. Which the longer I take to do it, it will be worse in my hip. So I started a GoFundMe and basically putting it up that I need some attention. I need some help concerning funds to get my surgery done as soon as possible. GoFundMe cancel the page within 3 days. So communicating with GoFundMe, they basically explain like the page get reported. People reported the page and basically they get to find out I was in prison, and I think that is against I don't know, I'm not the one who honestly created the page, but that is where I get to understand, and the evidence I got from the screenshot of the emails and stuff like that. So yeah, I tried to create it back another one, but didn't put it public, post it yet, and it happened again. So it's
because I guess you have to mention your cause, and your name is in that cause, right?
Yeah, mentioning my name of the probably the article of me being went to prison in the email and stuff like that.
So they pulled a news report.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. All right, but obviously down but not out. We would assume. As in, is there another avenue you're exploring to secure that hip replacement surgery?
Yeah, I'm looking at like some fundraisers and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, with the whole COVID stuff, it's a hard one because you still have to maintain the social distancing and avoiding big crowds and stuff like that. So for now, I'm actually organizing a barbecue for the 4th of December in Leyu at Cashville. It's very easy to find. It's right on the main road by the cemetery. So I'm looking at chicken, fish, pork. Yeah, so I'm getting a flyer out soon, so it's just asking for the support. At the end of the day, it's food and people have to eat, so just forget about your little restaurant favorite place for that day, and if you could support, you support. If you can't,
The usual price ranges, right? 10, 15 and them things.
yeah, if you can't, if you feel like keep me in your prayers, you do that. That will work.
You want to share a number if people want to pre-order?
Yeah, you can get at me at 455-4045. 455-4045. So it will be good. Try my best to see what else we can actually do, like a soup, also like a goat water, maybe a cake sale, maybe a raffle. But at the end of the day, again, we're trying to maintain the little social distancing.
Will persons be able to say wire money directly to your bank account or that kind of way? Or do you have that kind of thing set up just yet, or is that a work in progress?
It's in a work in progress, but to be honest, me personally, I know how people funny when coming to money and stuff like that, and a lot of crazy things just go on in this world. So when coming to money and people not doing it directly, I am very skeptical with it. Even though I am the one in need of it, I don't want to be the one who be responsible if anything have to go bad. Like for instance, the GoFundMe, which GoFundMe already giving back the helpers their money. So yes, I basically try my best to be careful, but I got advice to like just set up my account number and stuff like that. So I'm working on that in the next coming days or probably a week or two. So yeah, for now. But for now it's just faith and hope. To be honest, I know everybody basically, some happy, some ain't. Obviously everybody ain't for you, right? Some will look at me and say I'm a good guy, some will look at me and say I'm not. But all in all, that is what does really build a human being. I grew up of one thing in my mind, that anytime you're facing a negative situation, I always try best to take that same negative situation and turn it into a positive. It's always a flip for me. So what happened with me and the whole prison and everything, that don't flip with me, and a lot will want to see that happen again, but it ain't gonna happen. It will be a up movement from now on. People do make mistakes, right? But sometimes it's not the mistake you made. It's what you do after the making the mistake. So yeah, so look forward, and right now my main focus is just getting the surgery done. Which I have sleepless nights and stuff like that. I'm struggling. I have to walk with a cane. I'll not have to, but they advise me to walk with a cane to ease the weight bearing off of the hip. So sometimes if you see me and you see me ain't have my cane, don't say yeah, you're good. Sometimes I just get fed up, and it's just not that I will get a little ease and stuff like that. So yeah, everybody probably want to hear about the whole prison thing and what happened and stuff, but that is not possible. So my advice is basically to the younger generation, prison is not a nice place to basically go. Stay away from prison, stay away from bad doings and stuff like that. Because I realize who for me and who wasn't for me. And in the short space of time I learned my lesson, and the thing ain't happen again. So it's basically it for me. My main concern is that I would like for the government of SVG, even neighboring country, if they're willing, to assist in helping me doing such surgery.
How much does the surgery cost?
It's basically more like 50 plus $1,000 or more.
EC or US?
ECA. The surgery cost based on where you're going to do it, and have to do over whole test on the hip to see how far you get more damage and stuff like that. We're looking at Cuba at the moment. So yeah, different places it will be slight different price when coming to do the surgery. The Football Federation of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, every single body know, even though if me and an individual not really close or never get along, every single body know the service that I put out for them and St. Vincent and the Grenadines and for myself. So I will like for that organization, I should say, help me as much as they can, because I give everything that I had for you guys and for myself, obviously. So if you can help in a big way, a small way, do help. But I will be thankful still in whatever aspect you can assist. I thank every single individual who was involved and helping me get out. About my release, I went doctor, did tests, they saw my condition and they come to a conclusion and stuff like that. So thankful for everybody who played a part and stuff like that. Have some individual, I don't want to call them name, because at the end of the day, sometimes when you're doing certain things, you don't have to highlight people. People do things from good heart, and sometimes somebody being in the background and that is the main body in certain situation who basically do everything, and it will have a front man who's basically pumping up the chest and say, oh, it's them do this and them do that. But they know who they are, and I'm very thankful for the running up and down and the help and the support, especially my brother Flash. Yeah, thankful for he.